Had this game taken place some 2 or 3 months ago, it would certainly have been a banker home win. Well, Leeds United since then, although they've maintained their drive at the top of the second division, when you take a closer look at their record, you see that they've won only twice in their last 8 outings, drawn twice and been beaten 4 times, and their latest defeat coming at Swindon last Sunday. They've also got today Chris Kamara and Imre Varadi on debut, and manager Howard Wilkinson brings Vince Hilaire and Chris O'Donnell in for their first outing of the season, and they're both the substitutes. Hull City, under the management of Stan Ternent, have really turned the corner. They've lost only one of their last 7 games. That one a thumping home defeat by Bournemouth by 4 goals to 1. They've moved from the bottom of the table to 5th from the bottom, and things certainly looking up for the Tigers. And it's those 2 comparative records that will certainly add a lot of spice to today's game. Taking a look at the teams, Mervyn Day in goal for Leeds, Kamara on debut at 2, Beglin moves across to 3, Vinnie Jones, Chris Fairclough and Peter Haddock. The skipper, Gordon Strachan, is at 7, David Batty at 8, Lee Chapman at 9, Imre Varadi joins him in that front line wearing 10, his first game for the club. John Hendry is at 11, thankfully recovered from a thigh strain, and Vince Hilaire and Chris O'Donnell are the substitutes. The Hull City side line up with Ian Hesford in goal, Neil Buckley and Wayne Jacobs, Richard Jobson, Steve Terry and Ken Demange. They've got Gareth Roberts at 7, the skipper of the side, 11-goal Andy Payton at 8, Dave Bamber at 9, Billy Askew at 10, Stephen Doyle at 11, and Graham Atkinson, and the Maori, Perry and Garter, is the other substitute. Today's referee, Mr. David Axel, the game already underway, and Dave Bamber leaning heavily there on Chris Fairclough to win that header and conceding the first free kick of the game. United's injury list seemingly growing by the moment. Absent today, Mel Sterland and Michael Whitlow, the 2 fullbacks. Bobby Davison and Carl Schutt are also both missing from the lineup, and the ball still bobbling about there on the edge of the Hull City box, and finally it's Varadi's overhead, easily collected by Hesford. And just to complete United's injury lineup, as I say, Andy Williams recovering from injury, and of course Glyn Snowden, victim of wretched ill fortune with this persistent virus. Good header there from Fairclough, and a better one from Vinnie Jones, knocking the ball on. Bamber's offside, and Dave Bamber, who was quoted this week as saying that Leeds United's offside trap annoys him, he doesn't like the style, and he was a player that Howard Wilkinson took a look at earlier in the season, and he reckons he's got the better of the deal, joining Hull City, 5th from the bottom of the table, moving of course from Stoke, who are the last club in the second division. Vinnie Jones, that's a great ball from Jones, gives Kamara a chance to show his paces to the byline. It's a hard low cross. A loud appeal from the crowd there for a penalty, but not given, as David Batty tumbled down there. So already Kamara showing that he has a liking to link with the attack, and that a role of course adequately filled by Mel Sterland when that player is fit. Fairclough again with a header for Leeds. Vinnie Jones forward. It's a long ball and Steve Terry pumps it away. Only as far as Batty. Kamara does well. Nice footwork. Beaten in the end by the sliding tackle from an ex-Leeds player, Ken Demange. But Kamara already shown that even at 32 he looks well worth the relatively small fee that Leeds paid to bring him from Stoke City. Vinnie Jones with the long throw. In towards Chapman on that near post, and Hesford slightly judging the length of the ball better than Lee Chapman did, and the former Blackpool and Sunderland goalkeeper collecting that ball and taking plenty of time before pumping it hard downfield towards Andy Payton. Stephen Doyle. Steve Terry back to his keeper. Hull City were anchored at the bottom of the table for an awful long time this season, and indeed without a win for an awful long time. And they seem to certainly have got their act together under Stan Ternent, and they include in their victims away from home West Ham United, Plymouth Argyle, Wolves and of course Bradford City. So they're no slouches on their travels. Good header on from Chapman, didn't find Varadi. And Terry, who looks as though he had a little bit more time than he thought he had, putting that ball into touch. United are bound to take time to settle to their game today with 2 men on debut. There's one of them, Chris Kamara. And the other one, Emre Varade, looking to make something of that long through ball. Varade should be the ideal partner for Chapman. The two have played together before. It's the small dark runner and the tall centre forward who'll win his fair share of ball in the air, as Bamba did then against Fairclough. But good work by Haddock. Good header on from Chapman. Again Terry first to the loose ball. Well, the referee had already decided, by the way, that Dave Bamba was offside prior to that ball going into touch, and that's the reason why Leeds will restart with a free kick. Haddock pumps it forward. And he was looking for Chapman. Batty. Well, he needed to find the feet really there of Kamara, and that ball a little bit too far behind the fullback. Kamara getting a reminder from Chris Fairclough about who he should be picking up. And between the two of them they ensure that Bamba doesn't make connection with that ball. When Jacobs down the line. Fairclough again. Nice to see John Hendry in the side. Scored a wonderful goal at Swindon last Sunday, although the team were beaten and suffered the problems of a thigh strain during the week. David Batty, nice control from Batty, but demands robbing him, and Doyle pumping the ball forward, no offside. Jim Beglin, where he played so many games for Liverpool at the left back role. Started there of course this season for Leeds, and that's a nice ball inside to Askew, whose return pass, intended for Andy Payton, was of much less quality. Beglin, as I say, began his Leeds United career at left back, played only one game there before being out of the side for an awful long spell and resuming at right back. Vinnie Jones down the line. Good header on by Chapman. Steve Terry's main aim, certainly during the early stages, seems to be to clear his lines, whether he gives the ball away or not. Kamara this time with the long ball. And that's got Steve Doyle scuttling back, and Strachan wins out, and unfortunate there for the Leeds skipper, his toe poke, unable to find any supporting Leeds player anywhere near him. Don't want to sound like a prophet of gloom, by the way, my early comments about the game. Leeds United of course still 3 points clear at the top of the table, and it would take a couple of freak results in this match and indeed in Sheffield United's game to dislodge them from that position. And indeed I think it would be rather nice today for Leeds to justify that position at the top and also confirm Hull's position as one of the second division strugglers by giving them a pretty good walloping. Free kick awarded there for a foul by Lee Chapman in the back of Billy Askew. So no corner for Leeds, free kick instead for Hull City. The Tigers of course coming from a city where rugby league is really the king sport. Hull FC and Hull Kingston Rovers both vying for crowds, although in truth neither of them playing their games on Saturdays as a regular matter of course. And the Tigers certainly have a big crowd potential. A few problems there on the touchline. John Hendry, who clashed earlier with Billy Askew, having a few words again after conceding the free kick for the foul on Jacobs. And referee David Axel having a quiet word with Hendry, not to the approval of the cop. Askew hoists the long ball in. Mervyn Day allowing that ball, I suspect, to run dead. I was looking for confirmation from the touch judge on the far side, and he seemed to give confirmation, but Mervyn Day instead playing on. Jim Beglin, a little bit of room to move. Got Vinnie Jones inside in support, elects to go long, but even the pace of Varade won't take him on to the end of that one. Interesting character, Imre Varadi, known as Ray to his pals. It's the third time he's signed for Leeds manager Howard Wilkinson, twice at Wednesday, and now for the third time here at Elland Road. He'll be hoping that the partnership with Lee Chapman that he forged at Hillsborough will be just as fruitful here at Elland Road. Well, I think the intention of the through ball was right. Strachan was never really going to get on the end of that one, and Gareth Roberts instead was the man sweeping up for Hull City. A one-club player, Gareth Roberts, played over 450 games for Hull City. The skipper of the side and a real little tiger. Kamara's header. Terry pumps that one forward for Payton. It's 1 against 1 at the back. Andy Payton does very well indeed to hold off Peter Haddock, but then concedes the free kick. Very dangerous character, Payton. Kamara on the break for Leeds. Little chip over the top. An intelligent ball from Kamara. And Richard Jobson makes a lot of ground across to turn that one into touch. And Leeds certainly taking the game to Hull City during the early stages. 10 minutes gone. Nice close control from John Hendry. And battling hard as well. Kamara. Chance for the cross. Well, an unusual header from Varadi. He was looking straight at the West Stand when he headed that ball, and Hesford at the end of the day having to turn it over the top. So good play from Ray Varadi. That's the nearest either side have been to a goal, and it brings Leeds United the first corner of the game. Strachan. Well, Chapman getting the header, Hesford making the catch. That's a bad throw. Strachan a chance to pump one in. And I think it was perhaps Jim Beglin who was offside. In fact, it was Ray Varadi offside on the far side of the field. Referee says play on. Askew the through ball. Bamba's not offside. Day pumps it clear. Very solid work from Day. And that ball turned back by Neil Buckley. Not relishing the attention from Imre Varadi. So the first moments of excitement in the game. Lovely leap from Fairclough. And an intelligent header from Vinnie Jones. Beglin only finds Terry. Been fascinating to see the way Vinnie Jones has developed this season. He obviously always had the skills, but it was always going to be very difficult for him to display them at Wimbledon, and that's with all due respect to the London club, where of course he'd gained a reputation for being a man who could stop others playing without contributing too much himself. But the way he's developed at Leeds, I think, has surprised a lot of people all around the country. Kamara down the line. Batty does nicely, steps inside the first challenge. Got Beglin free on the left. Nice ball, lovely ball from Beglin too. Strachan, Varadi, Leeds moving smoothly now. This is lovely stuff. Beglin with the chance to cross. It's behind Strachan in front of Varadi, and eventually cleared by Jobson. Hendry and Askew. These two seen a lot of each other already in the early stages. Kamara the chance to cross, and it's a good cross. Chapman just couldn't control the header. Loose for Beglin. Batty again, the chance to build. Well, Kamara was looking for Jones. Dimanche and Doyle work it clear between them. And Haddock, coming across at speed there to deny Dave Bamber a touch, can only pump the ball into the West Stand. But the action in this game has been very good indeed during the opening stages. And that last cross from Chris Kamara, just what United have been looking for all season, to pull that ball away from the keeper. It had Hesford in two minds, and it gave Chapman a half-heading chance. United have settled very early to their work today, as I said earlier, bearing in mind they've got two debutants in the side, and Lee Chapman playing only his fourth game. One might have expected them to take them just a little longer, but they've gone straight at it, and are looking very good indeed in these early stages. Haddock, the covering defender. Play on, says the referee. And once again, Steve Terry, the man who boots the ball clear from the back, obviously under very clear instructions from his manager, Stan Ternant, to clear his lines at all costs. Terry, a man who played in the 1984 FA Cup final for Watford, in a losing match for them, of course, when they were beaten by Everton. Good header inside from Kamara. Varadi, the nice touch. Jones, not so. Terry, the long ball again. This time the offside trap is sprung, and this time it's Andy Payton in acres of space. Bamba free on the far post. That's too long for him. Askew will win the ball. Turned back nicely inside, and that's a desperate last-ditch tackle there, coming in from Fairclough, and Leeds having to work very hard indeed inside their own box there. Well, that was a scary moment for Leeds United, from the point where Andy Payton got free on the right, his cross finding Billy Askew, and Leeds not really clearing the danger, and the ball eventually coming off the toe of a Hull City player, hence the reason why Leeds have the dead ball kick. Kamara, the long ball, too long for Varadi. Hesford with the drop kick. Kamara on his own, elects to head. Nice touch from Chapman to David Batty. Batty brought down. Wayne Jacobs there, just a little tap on the ankle. He's a player who played, of course, for Howard Wilkinson at Sheffield Wednesday before joining Hull City, and he certainly made sure there that David Batty's progress was halted. Beglin and Strachan over the ball. Chris Fairclough has joined the attack. Kamara's in there too. This ball hit hard and headed away by David Bamba. Strachan does well, keeps his feet nicely there under challenge. And the crowd in the West End unhappy about the challenge on him. Referee says play on. And Batty looks to see where the next pass is going and hits Dimanche with it. Beglin to Kamara. Kamara floats one in towards Chapman. The ball not won cleanly. Strachan, little chip over the top. Strachan again. Shooting chance. Oh, a lovely chance there. That was clever play by Gordon Strachan. There was very little room to work. The Tigers' defence were hesitating. Strachan made himself the room and eventually won himself a corner. That would certainly have been difficult for Hesford to spot, coming as it would have done hard and low through a crowd of players. And Strachan using his brain there. Vinnie Jones, the header. The half chance at the far post for Varadi. Still not clear. Beglin belts one in. It bounces back off Dimanche. And the Tigers will come clear. That's a good ball inside across the face of United's defence, and Hendry the man back to get the ball back to Mervyn Day. Good work by John Hendry. Made a lot of ground there from that position where United had forced a corner. So another chance for United. Varadi just couldn't get the touch at the far post. John Hendry. Well, Hendry was looking to get the early cross in instead. The deflection from Askew wins United their third corner. They're putting the pressure on now. His pressure at the moment certainly looks worth a goal. Vinnie Jones on the edge of the 6-yard box. Lee Chapman on the edge of the goal line. Hesford gets the punch. Hendry the header back, and that could be a goal, and it is a goal. What a good goal from John Hendry. Marvellous play from John Hendry. 18 minutes gone, United take the lead. John Hendry scores his 5th goal of the season, and lying as he did on the edge of the box was in the ideal position there when Ian Hesford's punch reached him to float that header back over the Hull City defenders. There was a suspicion of a handball on the line, but referee David Axel quite rightly allowed the goal, and United get the goal they fully deserve for their pressure, and they lead by 1-0. Fairclough sends United forward again. Hendry. Bamba's offside. That was Bamba rather than Payton who was offside. Bamba was the player running back. What a super goal that was by John Hendry. A lot of skill involved there. Strachan's corner coming in at the near stick. Wasn't a bad punch either from Ian Hesford, but only as far as John Hendry, who spotted immediately what was on and floated the header over the top to put United in the lead. Jobson away. Batty. Well, that was nearly a good ball. Askew. There seems to be a little bit of bad blood between Hendry and Askew. Hendry catching the Hull City player there, and again referee Axel comes across to have a word with the Scot. So John Hendry moves on to 5 goals for the season. A goal in each of his last 2 games. In each of his last 3 games, of course, was he scored at home to Stoke City. Terry pumps the ball forward. Kamara half wins the header. Well, John Hendry certainly involved in this game today, no question about that. He's enjoying himself. That's a good throw for Steve Doyle. Back from Bamber for Doyle, but Strachan away for Leeds. He's spotted Verratti away on the left, but can't find him. Vinnie Jones can though. Ray Verratti. Jones to Beglin. Gareth Roberts is across. Strachan inside. Made a lot of ground. Strachan drives the ball in. Terry pumps it half away. And Steve Doyle at the second attempt half completes the clearance. City certainly looked hesitant at the back when United put them under pressure. And this time there's no doubt about Dave Bamber being offside. I think there could be some rich pickings for United at the back today. Although, quite remarkably, when you look at Hull's record, they've only been beaten 3 times in the league away from home. And that's as good as anybody in the second division except for Sheffield United. That's a good cross towards Chapman. Chapman gets the half header and Jacobs completes the clearance. John Hendry, again Askew in close attendance. Jacobs and Askew, a nice 1-2. Steve Doyle. Pushed that ball just too far and Beglin was well in. Good challenge from Jim Beglin. Bamber, that's a neat header back for Gareth Roberts. This is a very entertaining game. Plenty of good flowing movements. Well, Strachan looks for the runner. Hendry did a good job there because he took the defender away from Batty and Kamara. Batty's ball is far too long. Slight misjudgment there from the England B international.
There are 3 vehicles in the western car park.
Halfway through the first half, United lead by a goal to 0.
106 WWA and B149 WFW. All of the lights on.
Kamara adjudged to be the offender there. So Hull City, of course, will get the free kick. Steve Terry will take it. Easily identifiable Terry with the bandage round his forehead. Pumps the long ball forward. He's looking for Bamber, and Bamber gets the header on, and Haddock, who Hull City were asking for a penalty there for handball. Richard Jobson, another ex-Watford man, pumps the ball in, too long, and Andy Payton's got a great chance to equalise, and well played Mervyn Day. And that was a good combination between Bamber and Payton, his first touch led him down and Mervyn Day did the rest. United swinging back onto attack and they get the free kick. The foul by Buckley on Verratti. But that was an anxious moment in defence for Leeds. The cross was too long for Fairclough, Bamber knocked it down and Payton took an age really to get the ball under control, and Mervyn Day did very well indeed. That's a good cross in. Chapman just fails to make it 2. And that was a lovely ball in from Jim Beglin. It beat the Hull City defenders and ultimately it beat the Leeds United attackers, the last of whom was Lee Chapman, and the big striker. In his 4th game he scored on debut at Blackburn, knocking winning off his knee. And that would have been, of course, his first goal here at Elland Road. And he remains still seeking it. Jacobs the ball forward, Payton the man offside. So a few anxious moments at both ends of the field. United sweeping back from that Hull City attack to put themselves in a very strong position. Mervyn Day will take this one. Chapman wins the header and takes the ball on again himself. Berardi battling hard but loses out. Nice play from Askew, neat footwork. Equally neat footwork from Beglin. Knew exactly where his colleagues were. Haddock into space and eventually into touch. Very grey overcast day here in Leeds. There have been some showers this morning and round about lunchtime, but thankfully it's dry at the moment. And the breeze that's affected us for seemingly non-stop for about a month now has just about disappeared this afternoon. And the pitch, by the way, looking very lively today. Nice play from Fairclough, judged the tackle well. Kamara looking to go forward. Chapman was being pushed in the back by Jobson, so Leeds will have the free kick. If you remember, in the last home game against Stoke, the pitch was rather lifeless and the players found it difficult to get going on it. Today, a different proposition. Jones with the long effort, and that's a screamer. Well, Hesford looked confident enough, he looked as though he had it covered, but I suspect had it been heading for the top corner, the big keeper might just have been struggling. Jones from fully 35 yards, chancing his arm. Kamara wins the header. Chapman the nice touch, Batty forward, lovely play by Berardi, steps inside the defender there and rather unfortunate to lose out. Buckley winding out and pumping that ball forward. Haddock gets a nudge from Bamba, but does very well indeed. What a confident defender Peter Haddock is. Makes very, very few mistakes, Haddock. Jobson this time wins the header. Askew battles hard, Dimanche comes away. And good work from Batty. The tackling has really been razor sharp on both sides this afternoon. It's a good old Yorkshire derby, this one so far. End-to-end stuff. Chances at both ends. And of course an awful lot at stake. City trying to climb away from the relegation zone. And United very anxious indeed to consolidate their position at the top of the table. It's got the right ingredients and it's turning out to be a good one so far. Another big crowd here at Elland Road despite that defeat at Swindon. The crowd looks to be well over 26,000. We'll have the official figures a little later. Chapman, that's a good header under pressure. Hendry, well yes, I think his foot was a little high there. No complaint from Wayne Jacobs. I think there might have been had he taken a boot in the face. Terry with the free kick, looking for Bamba. Fairclough wins the header. John Hendry just couldn't turn on that one. Jacobs for Payton. And again his first touch lets him down, and so does Kamara's. As Hull City win themselves a corner. Always difficult sticking a boot in there in a 50-50 situation. Kamara won the ball and Leeds lost the corner. Steve Doyle across to take it. Richard Jobson has joined the attack, so Steve Terry moving up on the far post, Jobson on the near, and Neil Buckley, another big lad, also inside that 6-yard box. Doyle with the corner, looks for Terry at the far post. It's won by Bamba, and Mervyn Day can let that one go safely into the goal area behind his goal. So Hull City not short of ideas, quite prepared to swing on to attack when they have to do. And Kamara delaying just a moment there. I think he was waiting for Chapman to make the run towards the near post. Strachan. Vinnie Jones. Fairclough. He's just struggling at the moment to get this one away. Batty. Strachan again. Lovely play from Strachan. That was probably the best of the options. The Tigers working very hard there to close the Leeds players down, not allowing them to form the triangles that we're looking to form. Good header from Jobson, only as far as Jones. John Hendry, Varady, Kamara. United putting this one together very nicely indeed. Kamara again floating the long ball in. Chapman has to turn to collect. Strachan, lovely ball inside for Varady. Strachan again. Chapman not yet back in position on the far post. He's moving there now. Beglin in space. It's hard and low. Varady misses out. Jobson gets it clear. Batty the header in. And that one not really troubling Ian Hesford. And it looks as though Vinnie Jones has taken a knock right on the penalty box. In the meantime, Bamba makes progress and it's a penalty. Bamba brought down by Haddock, and Hull City have got the ideal chance to make it one apiece. Vinnie Jones is in the opposite penalty area, by the way. He's receiving treatment from Alan Sutton. So United effectively down to 10 men when that play swung to the other end of the field. And Haddock conceding the penalty. So, exactly on the half hour, Mervyn Day having a long chat with David Axel about this one, and David Bamba joining in, voicing his opinion. Very unhappy is Bamba. Gareth Roberts also joins in as Chapman has a word with Andy Payton. The Leeds players, no doubt, are trying to unnerve the youngster. Here comes Bamba. David Payton, and Payton nets. It's one apiece. The Tigers are level. Well, there were some real moments of drama around the Leeds penalty box there. With first Mervyn Day prepared to argue. Then Lee Chapman having a word with Andy Payton. Dave Bamba joined in. Gareth Roberts joined in. And all this, of course, makes life difficult for referee David Axel. But eventually it was Andy Payton registering his 12th of the season from the spot, and the teams are level. Leeds in the meantime are down to 10 men. Vinnie Jones receives treatment at the foot of the Hull City post. Hull City levelling the scores very much against the run of play. Good leap from Bamba. Well, that will certainly have given Hull City fresh heart to level up the scores. Bamba, the man who earned the penalty. Haddock, the player who conceded it. Payton, the man who scored it. And Billy Askew penalised there for another challenge on John Hendry. And there's little doubt that he's been given the task of curbing the forward runs of John Hendry. Peter Haddock will take the free kick. This time Hendry slips Askew with great skill. Drives the ball in hard and low. The outstretched foot of Terry gets that one away. Andy Payton beating Beglin, and Strachan with the tidying up. Vinnie Jones still off the field. Leeds down to 10 men. Be a blow for Leeds if Jones has to go off, because the two substitutes, Vince Hilaire and Chris O'Donnell, neither of whom is a midfield player. And of course it would mean that United not only have two debutants on the field and Chapman playing only his fourth game, but they'd have to introduce Hilaire and O'Donnell, neither of whom has figured in first team this season. Looks as though Vinnie Jones may well recover. Taking a knock on his left ankle. Still feeling it. And gets a big cheer as he rejoins the action. Jones quickly become a folk hero to the crowd here at Elland Road. And his influence on midfield is certainly one that's grown in stature as the season has progressed. Does enough to win that header and knock it back to Beglin. And Buckley couldn't keep the ball in play. Batty. Strachan. Plays the wall pass off the Hull defender. That ball just a bit too long for Batty. Got a good following with them of Hull City, travelling from Humberside. We can see them there in the visitors' pen on the far side. Look to be anything up to 1,500 of them. And getting behind their team. City's record over their last 11 games in the league. They've won 6 of them, drawn 2 and lost just 3. And scored 17 goals against 16. Their one league defeat, by the way, that thumping 4-1 setback at home to Bournemouth seemed rather a surprise result in view of their form. It's the only one they've lost in their last 7, and they finished the game with just 9 men. 2 players sent off. Terry with the free kick. Jones with the header. Strachan with the clearance. Fairclough. Jacobs robbed by Haddock. Ken demands this time, the man caught offside. Ten minutes to the break. The teams are level at 1 apiece. Chapman beaten in the air. Jones on the volley, and that's the goal. What a great goal from Vinnie Jones. You could see that one all the way. Well, Vinnie Jones tried earlier from long range, and this time he's successful. Seems rather strange that I was mentioning earlier the skill factor that's come into Vinnie Jones' game, and there he is popping in a volley from fully 30 yards. And that one was hit with skill, it was hit with accuracy, and it was hit with pace. And Ian Hesford never really had even a smell of it as that ball rocketed past the goalkeeper. What a marvellous goal from Vinnie Jones. And I would reckon, when you look back, certainly at Leeds United's recent history, that one will go down as one of the goals. The header out was from Jobson, and Jones' volley was perfection itself. 2-1, United back in the lead. Terry with the free kick. Varadi's got to run, he's got the pace. Emre Varadi had to check. Chapman's running for him now. Varadi, still faced by the defenders, floats one in and straight into the arms of Hesford. And that's a free kick to Leeds. The elbows from Bamba. And David Bamba showing a great dislike of Leeds United. I think it's something a little bit personal with him. He was already quoted on the Yorkshire Television's calendar news this week as saying how he hates United's offside trap and how he's glad he didn't join Leeds. Chapman with the header inside, Terry with the clearance. And he's already shown this afternoon a real dislike of United's tactics. And there we again see him offending as he jumps into Chris Fairclough, who's the mildest mannered of centre halves. And Bamba being told to calm down by the referee. A lack of professionalism when you let your personal feelings come into the game. Good clearance by Jacobs. Kamara was waiting for that one to sit. Nice ball from Hendry. Lovely 1-2. United going forward again. Haddock. That's a good ball from Haddock. Kamara's a good header. Hendry. Chance to turn inside, and the ball just wouldn't sit down for him. Jacobs, and that's good play from the fullback. Varadi was ever so close, and Vinnie Jones was close too. The ground still buzzing with excitement from that Vinnie Jones goal. That really will go down as one of the great goals that Leeds United have scored, certainly in the last 10 years, if not even further back than that. Strachan, Jones, United building again, Beglin, and United win the corner. And I would reckon those that are in the crowd who saw Vinnie Jones' goal will be proud to say they were here, and those of course watching on this video will also be running that one back more than once. Strachan with the corner. towards Chapman. Hesford makes the catch. United occupying very much the same tactics that they've played all season, with the ball into the near post. It was of course Ian Baird working that post before Chapman's arrival. And Verardi, I'm sure, will be expected to fill a very similar role to that occupied by Bobby Davison, doing a lot of the running off the mark up front and hopefully doing a lot of the goal scoring. Here's Peter Haddock in acres of space. Strachan. Vinnie Jones on the far side. Gets the good cross in, Jones, and Jobson killing the ball on his thigh. The crowd asking for handball. Batty the header back. Jones the chance to cross. Verardi does awfully well on the edge of the box. Strachan and Verardi, and that was nearly right. Kamara. Hendry. Couldn't quite slip his man. Did he push the full back? No, says the referee. And Steve Terry makes space for himself. Nice play from Bamba this time. Dimanche. Took too long. Beglin. Batty. Strachan. Batty. This is good play from Leeds. Batty in space. Hasn't scored this season. Oh, and he still hasn't. That was lovely play from Leeds United. And that all came from a clearance by Terry, a header from Bamba for Hull, and when Leeds won the ball back, they built beautifully to give David Batty the shooting chance. We're into the last 5 minutes, and what an entertaining first half this has been. In that last move, United stringing together almost a dozen passes. And had Liverpool done that, the national pundits would have been going wild. Vinnie Jones, shooting chance, fancies his chances now. Well, Chapman made that into a cross, and the ball goes out for a throw-in. That was Vinnie's fourth goal of the season, by the way. Hasn't scored more than one in a game, but he'll be looking for one more this afternoon. Payton and Bamba working well, and Haddock across. Jacobs with the throw. Askew really is a little close if Jacobs going to find him without foul throwing. He's down the line instead. Difficult ball for Chris Fairclough, that one. Bounced just in front of him, and he and Kamara having a conversation off the ball, just explaining to each other exactly what went wrong. Payton the header back. Chapman battling hard, the ball didn't run for him. Steve Doyle. Lovely ball inside for Roberts, but Ken Dimanche was offside. The midfielder pushing up, caught offside. A couple of yards inside, on from the centre circle in the Leeds half of the field. Dimanche ready to push forward from midfield. Didn't play too many first team games when he was a player here at Elland Road. One of Billy Bremner's signings, came from Liverpool, and originally of course out of the Republic of Ireland. Verardi gets the little touch. Buckley wants this one to run dead. Verardi won't allow it to do so, and United will have the corner. That ball spinning off Gareth Roberts. So one more chance of a goal before half time. Jones is up on the near post, so is Lee Chapman. Fairclough has joined the attack, so has Kamara. Kamara gets the touch and just knocks it wide, and that was a good leap by the full-back. Always nice for a player to score on debut, and Kamara read that situation perfectly, joined the attack, got a firm header on the ball and couldn't find the net. Good header by Jones. He really is committed heart and soul to United, this player. I think that's why the fans love him. They spot that commitment. Payton, a good header on. That's a good clearance by Hendry. And was that a foul by Batty on Dimanche? Given immediately by referee David Axel. Done well this half has Axel. Been unobtrusive, had a quiet word when he's needed to, and kept his cool at the penalty situation when both Day and Chapman got themselves involved having a chat to people. Good header inside. Payton was turning for the shot, he was robbed. That's a great ball out of defence. Gordon Strachan. Chapman's run offside. Still offside. Even though Kamara was running on the near side. Lee Chapman. He'd halted his run, but he hadn't come back onside. Kamara, the runner, by the way, certainly wasn't offside. But nevertheless, Hull City will have the free kick as we go into the final minute of the first half. Terry pumps the ball forward. Good header by Fairclough. David Batty, good control by Batty. Jones, Verardi. United's passing really has been a delight so far today. Verardi a little unlucky. And once again, Demange caught offside. It seems to be a plan of Hull City's that Demange will push forward from midfield in a bid to beat the offside trap. And he's failed palpably to do so far in the game. The 45 minutes are up. We wait now for referee David Axel to decide how much, if at all, he will add on. Hull City will have the throw. There's Gareth Roberts down the line. The header was knocked on by Payton. And this time it's Billy Askew. Nice crossfield ball by Askew. Jacobs had just to check to wait for it to arrive. Fairclough's there first. Well, I will, just for the moment at least, let the applause from the crowd tell you the story of the first half. They're absolutely delighted. It's been a real cracker. I can't remember when I've enjoyed 45 minutes of football quite so much. We've seen two real specialist goals from Leeds United. A superb header from John Henry on 18 minutes and a really superb volley from Vinnie Jones 17 minutes later. Those are the two goals that Leeds have scored. In between, Payton pulling Hull City back with a penalty, and the half-time score after a thrilling first half of football. Leeds United 2, Hull City 1. Well, neither manager has made a change during the half-time interval. So just a reminder, Vince Hilaire and Chris O'Donnell, the substitutes for Leeds United, and Graham Atkinson and the Maori, Perry and Garter for Hull City. A reminder once again of the score. United 2, Hull City 1 as the second half gets underway. If it provides us with as much entertainment as the first half did, it's certainly going to be something worth seeing. Almost a typical derby, the first 45 minutes. Good end-to-end stuff, chances at both ends, and 3 goals for the spectators. Vinnie Jones, the toe poke, and that's well away by Stephen Doyle. Gareth Roberts looking around. He put Buckley in a bit of a tight spot there. And Batty and Demange clashing in the centre circle, and the Tigers get the free kick. Still plenty of life left in this Hull City side. They made a pretty full contribution to the first half, putting United under pressure more than once and earning themselves a penalty which they converted as their only reward. Steve Terry with the free kick. And that ball just a little bit too high for Bamber, but he would have had a free header. Lovely play from Strachan. Mr. Cool turning that ball back to Mervyn Day when I think others might have thought about playing in the opposite direction. The Tigers' major problem in the first half, they looked a little bit pedestrian at the back and a little bit unsure of themselves when Leeds put them under pressure. Jim Beglin effectively takes Andy Payton out of the play and gives Haddock room to work with that ball inside, and Haddock makes the most of it too. Nice play. Chris Kamara, the early ball in. Verardi, the bounce beats him. Seems to be a lot of life in the pitch in that corner down there by the Kop, and that ball certainly taking a very lively bounce indeed. Nice header by Kamara. This is good play from Leeds. The combination work has been excellent today. Clumsy challenge there from Neil Buckley. They really have put their passes together, perhaps better than at any time in the last couple of months. Kamara hoists the long ball in again. Jobson this time beats Chapman, but the ball running loose. Hendry! The whistle had already gone. Lee Chapman having a rare old tussle there at the centre of the Hull City defence with both central defenders, Steve Terry and Richard Jobson. Although in the main it does seem to be Jobson who's doing the close marking job, and Terry the man who's standing off. Nice work from Verardi, and Batty goes on in space. David Batty just pushed that ball a shade too far, and Steve Terry reading the situation well. Batty again. And this is the point where Hull City look uncertain, when you push them back on defence and when you hassle them. Kamara. Again only a half clearance. And Strachan beaten to that ball by Askew. Nice play by City as they break clear. Fairclough under pressure from Bamber, and he does well, the Leeds centre half. Bamber, a centre forward who puts himself about a bit. Nice header from Jobson. Again, Hull City's clear is not a good one. Vinnie Jones took that ball beautifully on his chest. Well, he scored once, had another effort just whistling wide, and he obviously fancies his chances this afternoon, Jones. Strachan. Little bit of room here. Hendry the spare man. Hendry inside the box. That's a great chip to the far stick. The ball's still in play, or is it? No, it isn't. Verardi did his level best to keep the cross in. And that was a real let-off for Hull City, who immediately sweep back onto the attack. I don't think Payton will get the free kick that he wanted there. Good play by Peter Haddock. Despite the fact that United have two men playing their first ever game, and Chapman only his fourth, they look a very well balanced outfit indeed this afternoon. Nice play by Askew. Not so by Doyle. Peter Haddock was well in there. Strachan goes forward. Lovely ball for Verardi. Verardi floats one in. He was looking for Lee Chapman, and that ball just too far in front of his former Owls striking partner. And Verardi at the moment looking a snip, as does Kamara, which just goes to show the shrewd brain of manager Howard Wilkinson when it comes to the buying and selling of players. Again, good work by Haddock. This game far from over, although United lead by 2-1. We're barely 5 minutes into the second half. Dave Bamber goes well, turns off his man, makes the shooting chance. Is that another penalty? It is. Oh, would you believe it? That's incredible. Bamber had lots of time to turn, and when he took the ball on, it was Fairclough who brought him down. So still plenty of drama, and again Mervyn Day goes to the referee. So Andy Payton a chance to score his second goal of the game, his second penalty of the game, and his 13th goal of the season. Mervyn Day looked absolutely disgusted with that decision, but the referee was quite happy about it, gave it very quickly. Andy Payton getting the bird from the crowd. And he's took the one home, he's took the ball home, it's 2 apiece. Well, quite remarkable. Payton scoring twice from the spot, and with 51 minutes on the clock, once again Hull City are level at 2 apiece. Dave Bamber did the spade work. United's defence allowing him the room to move on the edge of the box, and when he got inside it, it was Chris Fairclough who had to bring him down. Well, the crowd certainly seeing value for money in terms of goals this afternoon. 4 of them already in the net. I think they would have been happier had they all been scored by Leeds. And Strachan's free kick there just a little bit too long and a little bit too sharp for Vinnie Jones. As I say, I reckon they would have been a lot happier had they all been scored by Leeds. But you have to bear in mind Hull City's away form. It's been very good this season. Only 3 defeats. And they've certainly come here with an adventurous approach. They haven't sat back. Good header from Fairclough. So Leeds got it all to do again. And certainly got the ability to do that. Good header from Jobson. Strachan. Chapman battling hard, but certainly caught off balance. And that was unlucky from Jones, because Beglin was on the turn and couldn't make the ground back to pick up his first time pass. Gareth Roberts. Mervyn Day, the long ball. Chapman and Jobson this time clashing. Terry gets it away, but only as far as Beglin. That's a good ball in for Verardi. Just unable to control that one. Nice play from Vinnie Jones. Fairclough's foul. Haddock wants to get on with it. Demange stopping him doing so. Vinnie Jones takes it though. Kamara, room to work. Got Chapman free on the far post. Uses the short ball instead to Hendry. And that was always going to be a difficult one for the little Scot. It's remarkable how many of Hull City's clearances have found Leeds United players in this game, enabling United to swing back onto the attack. Kamara this time, well, I thought he was going to give the free kick against Bamba. Instead he gives it for Bamba, or rather I thought he was going to give it against Kamara. He gives it for Leeds instead, and Bamba's the one who finishes up with a bad back. Been an awful lot of talking in this game by players to each other on opposite sides, and also by players to the referee. David Axel's kept a cool head, the referee, throughout. And obviously a man who doesn't mind a conversation from time to time. So Bamba gets the boos and the bad back. The game will resume with a free kick to Leeds. Batty, chance to hoist one in. Looks for Fairclough, and Fairclough beaten by Terry, but only just. Roberts away. Askew on. Payton the header. Kamara the touch. Batty looking to find Imre Verardi. And again, when the ball bounces on that far side of the field, it really shoots forward. And Verardi having no chance once that ball had pitched. Ten minutes into the second half, the scoreline 2s apiece. Fairclough does well. Stephen Doyle. Oh, and that was awfully near Imre Verardi. The sections of the crowd not happy with the way the game is going at the moment. Or to be more accurate, the way the officials are handling it, I suspect. Kamara. Chance to make room. Long striding player, Chris Kamara. Not normally seen at full back, but doing a good job. The cross is in. Hooked away by Doyle. Kamara loses out. Hendry doesn't. John Hendry. Oh, and he's brought down by Demange. And that's the kind of thing that irritates the crowd. All the frustrations come bubbling to the surface when a move is ended by a trip. And the reaction from the crowd, one of disgust. Fairclough is up for this one. Vinnie Jones in the box, so is Chapman. Strachan over the ball. And Strachan it is who takes it, drives it hard towards Jones. The ball is loose. And the Tigers managed to battle that one away. And Haddock does well. Takes that ball off Payton very easily. Verardi, lovely layoff. Jones has driven it hard. Verardi, high into the cop. Good play from Leeds United. But no reward. Still making the openings. Peter Haddock did awfully well there to rob Andy Payton on this near side and start the move rolling. Kamara. There's nobody wide left except Gareth Roberts, and Roberts, nice control and a nice touch back to Hesford. John Hendry to Batty. And one wonders what's going through Howard Wilkinson's mind at the moment, because he has of course got Vince Hilaire on the bench, and Hilaire just the kind of player to unlock a hesitant defence. Extremely good ball skills. That was a little bit short from Strachan. Leeds got away with it. Verardi. Batty trying to knock that ball up for the cross, and eventually only finds Hesford. Bamba gets the verbal treatment from the Leeds crowd. Gareth Roberts gets the throw. Certainly no love affair existing between David Bamba and the Elland Road faithful. So Hull City have worked themselves a good attacking position here. Stephen Doyle hoists the ball in very early. Good header away. Vinnie Jones gives Verardi a run. Has he got the pace to get away from Buckley? Not quite. The fullback getting the first and vital touch on that ball, despite the efforts of Emre Verardi. Good header from Kamara. He was off balance when he made that one. Hendry and Askew clashing once again. And the referee this time gives Leeds the free kick when they were actually coming away with the ball. Beglin in space on the left, and that's where Kamara hits the cross. Nice little ball to Verardi. To Strachan. Strachan goes on. Can he hit the cross? Yes he can, and that's a great cross. And can Chapman force it in? No he can't. But Leeds will get the corner. Chapman finishes up in the back of the net. That's really where the ball wanted to be. But in fact, I think he's given the free kick. That was a good effort from Leeds. Hard to tell there whether the referee had colluded with his linesman and decided that Chapman was offside. You've got the benefit of replay, I haven't. But nevertheless, it's Stoke who'll get the free kick and pump the ball away. Dave Bamba quickly dispossessed there. Haddock. That was difficult for Peter Haddock, that ball running just behind him, and he found his feet at just the right time. Half an hour left. Verardi beaten again by Buckley. Hendry gets the throw. Leeds keeping the tempo very high indeed against Hull. Chapman, this time he wins the header, and this time he concedes the free kick for leaning on the defender. So once again no reward for Leeds, and the result of the game still in the melting pot. Nice little header inside from Bamba, causing Leeds a lot of problems this afternoon. The striker, who's with his 8th club by the way, David Bamba, certainly been one of the game's nomads, and his transfer fees have totalled over £500,000. Haddock battling hard to get that deflection off the referee. Beglin being told to pump the ball down the line, instead plays it short inside, and skipper Strachan accepts that Beglin probably did the right thing. Mervyn Day causing a few flutters by allowing that ball to run. No real danger. Towards Strachan, and he wins the header. Jobson though, always got plenty of time to clear up there. Kamara, nice control. Just couldn't get the clearance away in time. Billy Askew closed him down very quickly indeed. No sign of substitutes being prepared by either manager at the moment. It'll be rare if we get through a game without either team using a sub. But we've still got some 27 minutes of play left here. Well played Fairclough, battled very hard there, but in fact the referee had already given the free kick. Jim Beglin. Vinnie Jones, nice running by Strachan, took one defender away. Ray Verardi turns beautifully off his man. Chapman the header. Hendry, a chance here. If John Hendry can turn inside. And that ball was loose for just a moment there before Jacobs recovered his composure. And you have to put that down as a chance. Jacobs, the long ball. Too long. Strachan in the centre circle, out of picture, having trouble with a troublesome bootlace. He's tried a couple of times to tie it. Chapman the header on. Hull City the throw. Fairclough pumps the ball back in. And Chapman didn't connect, and neither did Richard Jobson. Verardi. Nice play to Batty. Lovely ball back to Hendry. Chance to cross. The ball off the knee of Verardi. Jim Beglin. Does well. Makes space where there appeared to be none. And good tackling back by Andy Payton. Vinnie Jones. Verardi's come short. Jones actually put the ball in the space that Verardi had just vacated. John Hendry. Was he brought down? No, says referee Axel. He fell. That was always going to be touch and go. Hendry not complaining. And Hull City will have the dead ball kick. Well, moments earlier I was saying that the subs weren't warming up. Now all four of them are out. Warming up on the touchline in the Leeds United half of the field. I think Dave Bamber's probably given Chris Fairclough more trouble than most centre forwards who he's played against this season. Certainly won his fair share of ball in the air. Haddock forward. Chapman and Jobson, those two have spent most of the afternoon very close to each other. Strachan. And Hull City win the throw. Nice little back heel there from Billy Askew. Just the ball just catching the heel of David Batty. Vinnie Jones. Chance to set Leeds moving again. The further this game goes, the more valuable that third goal will be, if indeed it is to arrive. Verardi. Hendry. That was a miss kick from John Hendry. And again Fairclough having problems. But his speed helps him to recover and should win Leeds the throw. Sensible stuff by Kamara, no point in taking any chances in that sort of position. And the crowd getting behind the team now. Mervyn Day for one of the few times this afternoon out of his goal. Jobson with the header. Askew back to his keeper. Strachan's in there. And Hesford just manages to save the corner. That was a mighty clearance. Bouncing back off the roof of the Lowfields Road stand that wraps itself round the ground from the cop at that far side. Vinnie Jones. Got Chapman in there. It's too long for him. No, he gets a touch. Just off the back of Chapman's head, I suspect, and straight into the hands of Hesford. Well, that ball right through the middle. Jim Beglin. Beglin looks for the runners. Chapman picks the ball up. Gareth Roberts collects. "22 minutes left, still 2 apiece. Well, Bamba had the time and the space there was nobody on him. Didn't make the most of it. Nice play by Jim Beglin. Well, that was a mucker nettles job by Richard Jobson. The whistle came a little late, but Leeds still get the free kick. I think David Batty might have been spending the rest of the weekend wondering about his future in football had Jobson connected there. Haddock at the moment having problems getting past David Bamba, and Bamba just half a yard offside. Otherwise Ken Dimanche's pass would have been a very good one indeed. Beglin with the free kick. Chapman the target. Jobson the header. Chapman again the target. This time he wins the header. Strachan did well, stunned that attempted clearance from Doyle, but certainly not the one from Steve Terry. Both teams playing a very similar type of game here this afternoon. And there's a lot of chasing and a lot of harrying going on, and that itself is turning the game into a very interesting spectacle. Batty making good ground, and that's handball. No, says the referee, would you believe it? Play on, and Hull City still in disarray at the back. Well, that looks a clear case of handball. And it hardly needs me to mention what the crowd think about that one. They're absolutely incensed. Good play by Strachan. Batty. That's a great ball to Henry, he's got space. Chipped the ball in and Jobson headed away. Back to Henry. Dimanche. Good work by Fairclough. Batty. And good work by Batty too. And Batty was felled there. Will this be the first booking of the match? It certainly should be. David Batty in some pain. And Ken Dimanche being called in. Or is it Dave Bamba? It's Dave Bamba. Dimanche was only adding an opinion. So Dave Bamba, playing only his second game for Hull City after his move from Stoke, and finds himself going into the referee's notebook. It'll be interesting to see what colour card comes out. I think it will almost certainly be a yellow one, but referee Axel spending a long time talking to Bamba. And the yellow card it is. Strachan looks for Chapman. Chapman wins the header. The ball's loose. Kamara. Chance for him to become an instant hero there, and the shot stunned by Ian Hesford. And Vinnie Jones blunts the clearance there off Steve Terry. Marvellous atmosphere for this game. And again the crowd incensed. And Gareth Roberts peering over the top of Vinnie Jones, who was a much taller man than him. And Beglin had to work hard to get that header in there. And the crowd now venting their wrath on both David Bamber and referee David Axel. And I think Vinnie Jones thinks that he's won the free kick, and I suspect he may well have conceded it. Well, Steve Terry wants to know, is it a throw or a free kick? Gareth Roberts throws it. A lot of feeling in this game, more than perhaps would exist in a Yorkshire derby. Leeds, of course, looking for a double. They won that at Boothbury by a 0-0 back on September the 16th. A late goal from Ian Baird. Kamara. And Leeds win the throw. Good work by John Hendry. "17 minutes left. That's a terrific throw by Jones. Chapman wins the header. Jim Beglin. Verardi. Strachan. Steps inside Demange beautifully. Looks for the 1-2 with Hendry. Fairclough. The shooting chance. Charged down by Terry. Batty. Well, he was looking to spread the play, David Batty. He was doing the right thing. But I think there must have been a little bit of spin on that ball, and it spun away from him. And United about to make a substitution. Jim Beglin, the man coming off. Chris O'Donnell will replace him. Very solid looking Chris O'Donnell. Came on a free from Ipswich Town. And this the first look the Leeds fans have had at him. He's got 16 minutes and he'll get a touch almost straight away. In fact, Haddock turning the ball straight back to Mervyn Day. Interesting to see if O'Donnell slots in at full-back or in fact moves into a central defensive position, which is where he is at the moment, and Haddock has moved across. Jones takes the free kick quickly. John Hendry. And well played by Steve Doyle. Hullo struggling to get the ball away. Strachan, Verardi, Strachan, Hendry. Oh, and it just wouldn't sit down for him. And Leeds get the corner. And the crowd absolutely incensed by some of referee David Axel's decision making. They certainly were when he denied Leeds a penalty in front of the Kop some 4 or 5 minutes ago. In comes the cross. Jobson with the header. And Hull City clear their ranks in no uncertain terms. I think Andy Payton was perhaps expected to make the run for that one. Instead it's Haddock across. Well, if he's playing left back, Haddock, he's in the wrong position at the moment. Vinnie Jones, nice ball to Kamara, who gives it away. O'Donnell, nice header. United stringing their passes together, and that's a chase for Verardi. Can't get round the whole man, but wins the free kick. Ironic cheers from the Kop. Strachan wants to take it quickly, but Jacobs won't let him. He's allowed to do so, of course, once the referee gives the signal. In it comes towards Chapman. Chapman the header. Fairclough. He needed to turn, Chris Fairclough. John Hendry looking to swing that one back over the top. Demange breaking clear. Good work from Haddock. That's another more loose work from Terry. But Kamara just couldn't chip that ball into the path of Ray Verardi. Well, there's hardly been a moment in this match when there hasn't been something happening. Been full of incidents, full of excitement, and 4 goals so far. And this time Batty catches Dave Bamber in the face. In fact, it's Demange. My apologies to him. Well, the kick a little high, but of course that could have, with Batty on the half turn, have been deemed a 50-50 ball.
29,907.
wireless system in the background informing us that 29,977 are here today. A massive crowd indeed. The support once again there for Leeds, and they certainly won't want to drop a home point, or two of course it is nowadays, with 3 points being on offer. Indeed, both sides have gone from the win right from the off. Steve Terry with the free kick. Waiting for Ray Varadi to retreat the full 10 yards. Terry pumps the wall in. Jones wins the header. Doyle! And that's the goal! Well, would you believe it? Stephen Doyle has put one in this time. Well, what a game this is turning out to be. And Steve Doyle scores a remarkable goal for Hull City. And one would have to say it was of similar proportions to the one that Vinnie Jones scored himself in the first half for Leeds. So 3 goals to 2 for the visitors. And they'd be full of joy indeed if they could add Leeds United to their away scalps this season. So Leeds United really got their work cut out now. Kamara fouled. What a remarkable goal that was from Steve Doyle. Let's take nothing away from it. Terry with the free kick, Jones with the header out, and Doyle immediately responded. Jones wins the header. Jones wins the header again. Hull City just can't get the ball clear. John Hendry, just too high for Varadi. This time Hull City will clear their ranks. Good work by Billy Askew, finding Gareth Roberts, and Haddock across to cut out the pass intended for Andy Payton. Well, it's been a remarkable game of remarkable goals. And I would guess when you ask Vinnie Jones after the game if that was the best of his career, he'll certainly say yes. And I'll be amazed if Stephen Doyle says anything but that it was the best goal of his career. 3 goals to 2 to Hull City. Eleven minutes to go. Chapman the header. Doyle back, this time he's given the ball to Hendry. And is Hendry fouled this time? No, he gives Leeds a corner. In truth, I think the goalkeeper actually fell over Hendry. Hendry was already on his way down before Hesford joined the fray. But the cop, of course, looking for a crumb of comfort from that situation. Vinnie Jones, the header on. Chapman missed the ball. Kamara, wide of the post. Is it another corner? Well, it certainly looked as though it took a deflection, that one. But all that will happen is that Hull City will get a much relieving dead ball kick. Kamara, the last Leeds player who got a touch. And still the incidents occur. Chapman the header on. Demands the ball through and 2 men offside. The Hull City strikers both caught this time. That perhaps one of the easier decisions that the officials have had to make. Chris O'Donnell with the free kick. Leeds pressing men forward. Terry with the header. Jacobs only as far as Kamara. Kamara does well, he had no room to work, gets the cross in. This time it's a flying header from Doyle. David Batty. O'Donnell. Very much on his own, some back there was Chris O'Donnell. Probably did the right thing with Hull City streaming out from the back. David Batty. Towards Strachan, finds Hendry instead. Strachan inside the box. Can we find a little bit of magic? Ray Varadi missed his kick. Strachan again. Varadi scores! The debut goal for Varadi. And the incidents continue. Great play from Leeds. They're back in the game. 9 minutes from time. Ray Varadi marks his debut in the side with a goal. But certainly it was Gordon Strachan's influence there. Strachan twice fed the cross in, and on the second occasion it was Imre Varadi turning the ball in, and 3 apiece. What a remarkable derby match this is. Haddock with the throw. 8 minutes left. Strachan forward. Looks for Hendry. Terry wins the header. Steve Doyle pumps the ball up the line. Good work from Haddock. Read the situation perfectly. David Batty. Vinnie Jones. Nutmegged his man beautifully. Played the 1-2. Here's Varady. Here's Jones. And Jobson was across. 7 minutes for either side at this stage to forge a winning goal. And you'd have to say that Leeds were the favourites to get it if the one was to come. Spectators, of course, and managers and players always have opinions about games, but in terms of entertainment, I think you'd have to go a long way to better this one. It's had a little bit of everything. Strachan and Bamba there, a disagreement. The linesman goes with the whole man, and the Tigers have the throw. Gareth Roberts down the line. O'Donnell. Dimanjan Jones, Strachan, Roberts, a probing ball forward. Chris Fairclough had ground to cover there to beat Andy Payton to the ball. Mervyn Day. Well, there's been urgency about the work of both sides throughout this game, and there's even more urgency now. It's all to play for. Jobson this time doesn't make the clean header. Was Hendry fouled off the ball? Chapman wins the header. Hendry, a chance. Oh! And Varady diving across to try and connect with that one. I think perhaps Hendry was shooting. Leeds are bringing Chapman off, they're bringing Hilaire on. And will this prove to be the winning substitution? Vince Hilaire, his first look at first team action this season. He's got just 6 minutes to make an impression. Well, quite frankly, the way things have gone in this game so far, it wouldn't amaze me if indeed Hilaire got straight into the action and scored the goal. I'll believe anything after this afternoon. 2 remarkable volleyed goals, 6 on view altogether, 2 penalties for the visitors. And what more than a Leeds win could we be asking for at the moment? Varady. Jones plays the 1-2 with Varady. Kamara. Hilaire, a first touch. Jones. Haddock running free on the left. He'll have to do some work to catch this one. He gets there. Peter Haddock. Had a storming game. Lovely cross from him. Kamara. Jobson. Hilaire. Askew working hard. Can't get on the right side. In fact, fouling Hilaire. Free kick to Leeds. Strachan wants to get on with it, so do the fans. Referee Axel having a word with Strachan. I can't think why. It was Askew who wouldn't give him the ball. Strachan hoists one in. Headed away by Bamba. Another shout for handball. Half-hearted this time. Haddock and Payton. Payton comes out the winner. He's got Bamba running free on the right. Askew's seen him and hoists the ball towards him. Good work by Fairclough. Chris O'Donnell. Haddock towards Varady. No slouch in the air, Varady. Was Strachan fouled? Yes, he was. Demands the offender. 4 minutes to go on the clock. 3 goals apiece. John Hendry. David Batty. Leeds still looking to unlock the defence. Strachan, the half-shooting chance. The gap was there for a moment. Steve Doyle works hard. So does Hendry. So does Batty. Varady. Jones. Lovely ball from Vinnie Jones. Curling that one with the outside of the foot for Kamara. Kamara hoists the cross in. Hilaire the header. Didn't quite reach Hendry. Gareth Roberts hoists that one away. Good work from O'Donnell. Terry. Vinnie Jones. Certainly the most exciting game we've had at Elland Road this season. Peter Haddock. Looks for Vinnie Jones, finds him too. Strachan. Chris Kamara let that one bounce and then won the corner. 3 minutes to go. 3 goals each. Kamara leaving the corner to Strachan so that he can add his height in the penalty box. Vince Hilaire, back to Strachan. Chance to cross again towards Kamara. Vinnie Jones, and what a wonderful save from Hesford, and that deserved a goal. But what a marvellous save. Jones with the volley on the half turn, Hesford with the flying save, and we're still locked at 3-3, and now there's only 2 minutes to go. Gordon Strachan. Header away. Good work by Demange. Back to Strachan. Hilaire's the runner. Hilaire finds the space. Hilaire wins the corner. Still 2 minutes left on the clock. Strachan with the corner. Looks for O'Donnell this time. Instead finds Fairclough. In fact, the header out looked as though it could have been by Richard Jobson. There were a lot of bodies in there. Demange doesn't complete the clearance and Leeds get the throw. Vinnie Jones will take it. Can't help the feeling that we might need him inside the box. Could do with 2 Vinnie Jones at the moment. Hilaire. Little bit of magic from the little man. Strachan takes it on. The ball's loose. Steve Doyle the clearance. 1 minute left on the clock. Hull City move away. Gareth Roberts. Kamara's across. Good work from Chris Kamara. He ate up the ground between himself and Roberts. Haddock forward. Berardi. And Berardi wins the free kick. Kamara wants to take it quickly. Strachan in space. The little header from Hendry. The clearance. Kamara back to O'Donnell. Pumps it straight back in. Good header on by Fairclough. 2 Hull men battling each other for that ball. And Billy Askew's got a little bit of space. Payton's offside. Payton's come back onside. Stephen Doyle running into space. Haddock. Almost a miss kick. We're into the final minute of the game. 3 goals apiece. Jobson wins the header. Leeds, of course, lacking height up front now. They've taken Lee Chapman off. And this time Billy Askew running into the offside trap. We're into injury time. Leeds United 3, Hull City 3. Chris O'Donnell. Fairclough beaten in the air. Strachan. Well, he was looking for Hilaire. And did the ball take a deflection off Buckley? No, it didn't, says the referee. So Hull City will have the dead ball kick. The heat's certainly been on the Tigers for most of this half. Although they've managed to score themselves 2 goals. The full 90 minutes is up. It's now all down to David Axel. Still play goes on. Batty. Terry away. Vinnie Jones the header. Chris Kamara. Leeds will want to keep things moving. Well, he was looking for the man inside the box, who's Ray Berardi. Steve Terry wins the header. Batty's in again. Beaten by Bamba. Haddock. Strachan. Jones. Can Vinnie Jones finish this with a spectacular? What a great ball! Yes, it's there! A lovely goal from Strachan! And still the drama continues! It's almost unbelievable! Gordon Strachan in the 91st minute makes it 4-3. And the architect of the goal, Vinnie Jones, what a marvellous game he's had! Gordon Strachan really milking the applause, the little Scot. His 14th goal of the season, and there'll be none more valuable. 4 goals to 3, and Strachan really enjoyed that one. Lovely play from Vinnie Jones. we're now well into injury time. Chris O'Donnell polices that one all the way back. David Axel takes a long look at the watch. Chris Kamara takes his time. And that's the whistle. Well, the referee's certainly playing games with us. He's got the whistle ready. When's he going to blow it? Yes, he's done so. Just listen to the crowd. 29,977, and the majority of them are absolutely delighted with the end result. It was a game that was marked by incident, it was marked by excitement, and above all it was marked by exciting goals. Vinnie Jones produced the goal of his life with a 30-yard volley. Stephen Doyle matched it. Andy Payton grabbed 2 penalties, and let's not detract from the goal that John Hendry scored that got us underway in the first half, a wonderfully skillful header. But with the teams locked at 3-all, we wondered if there was more to come, and there was. Super play by Vinnie Jones, and Strachan the ideal complement to that play with his 14th goal of the season. The final score, Leeds United 4, Hull City 3, and full marks to both teams for providing superb entertainment. Gordon, the game itself was a marvellous advert for football, and of course it had a happy ending.
Yeah, most enjoyable day. The boys showed a lot of character today. You know, there's a lot of good football, but good football doesn't get you anywhere if you've no character, no will to win. The boys showed character and will to win today. That's how we become the winners today.
It was a game of lots of drama and some great goals. Let's start with the one that settled the issue. Your goal, the winner.
Yes, thanks for remembering me. I was running on empty there. I was running on memory just at the last minute there. The ball got played through. Can't remember who did it, but it was a good ball anyway. I managed to shrug somebody aside. Really just had a hit at it and hoped it would go in. And what a feeling it is when you see it enter in the back of the net.
It was Vinnie Jones actually who played the ball onto you, and what a marvellous goal he scored earlier.
Magnificent goal. I think the big man peaked in his career today. I don't think he'll score any better than that. It was a wonderful goal. He deserved it. He's played great for the last couple of months for us, a big man. He's now become a far better football player than he was when he came here at first.
City, of course, had clawed their way back in after John Hendry had given you a good start with an equally good goal.
Yeah, they got 2 penalties today. They're a hard team to beat, but fortunate to get the penalties. And then they scored a wonder goal. You know, they came back with their wonder goal. I don't think that guy will ever score a goal like that again. It just summed up the whole day. It was a wonderful advert for football.
It was a tough game as well. Obviously being a Yorkshire derby, it was always going to be. There seemed to be a lot of players talking to the referee. Was there more than average talking going on today?
Not really. I think when the game's exciting is that people get involved in the game as well. They get excited. We're only human. We can't stand about and say nothing and say, oh, that's a nice pass, that's a lovely pass. You enjoy it. It's part of the game. As long as you don't go overboard, as long as you don't swear at the referee, I think the referee can handle it. There was no complaints from the referees during the game.
I think you must have been well pleased with the display of your 2 debutants, Chris Kamara at full back and of course Emre Varadi.
Couldn't ask for much more from them today, especially Emre Varadi. He's not had a game in first team football for a long time. I don't think he's played reserve team football for about a month, and he came out today and showed what a great professional he is.
And Kamara, a very solid display.
Good display, especially when he's playing out of position. But he loved every minute today, and he's really enjoyed the game, and I think he's going home a happy man.
It was vitally important that you won, of course, because the teams just behind you also all won today.
Yeah, but it was a way we won. That'll keep us going for a while. It was, as I said before, the character and the will to win. That was more important than the result today. Even if it went to 3-3, we showed that character and will to win. It was fantastic today.
Is it one of those games that when you sit down as an old man with your cup of cocoa, you'll think back and remember?
Yeah, I think I'll blow the backside off the grandchildren in about 30 years' time.